To my first part on my C++ tutorials. So I'm going to try and explain everything as simplistically as I can. So this website that we're coding on today is called Online GDB. You can just look it up on the internet. Don't need to download anything. It's very basic. So we're doing C++ today. So the first step, as you get to this website, it should look exactly like this. Go to language and then click C++ because that's the language we'll be coding in today. Okay. So there's some stuff on this website that we don't need. So let's delete this for now. And let's delete these lines inside. Okay, int main is where our code is going to be running. So anything that we put inside of int main is going to run. So let's say, and I'll explain that more later, but that's just the general concept. You don't need to know more for now. Okay, to do C++ coding, you have to have header files. So let's say, for example, in every C++ code, you have to put using name space std. Don't ask why, just do it. Okay, and then also, we're gonna do this hashtag include and then iostream. So why do we put iostream? So the reason why we put iostream is to display output and input to the user. So if we want to put something on the screen, like let's write hello, then that only works if we put include iostream. So let's do that. Let's display hello. So in C++, the way to display something is C out, like output, and then we can put in parentheses hello, and follow the end of the lines with semicolons. This tells this tells this says okay, this is the end of the line. So now let's run. So there you can see we've just displayed hello on our program. So what would happen if I deleted include iostream? Let's run this program. As you can see, it doesn't work. It says error. The only way to use cout is if you do hashtag include iostream. Okay, so that's very important. So now let's say a variable. Okay, so a variable is like a box that has a label on it, and we can put stuff inside this box. So for example, let's make a box and let's make it an integer. So an integer is like 1, 2, 3, no decimal points, nothing like that, no letters. So let's say int, and then we want to label this box. So what are we going to call this box? Let's label this box num, short for number. So now we have int num. So we have a box that can hold an integer value inside of it. So let's say for now int num is equal to 1. All right? So now let's see. Cout. Now let's display our variable. So here you don't need parentheses because you're just displaying the variable. So cout num and then follow that with a semicolon. As you can see, we just displayed 1. We can also manipulate this value. So let's say we want to display cout and num plus 1. That's completely valid. So now it displays 2. But num is still equal to 1. It only displays 2. But inside of our num variable, our num box, we still have the value 1. This is just num plus 1. It doesn't modify the value of num. What we can do to modify the value of num is num is equal to num plus 1. So let's think about this. Why does this make sense? So num is equal to 1. So right now we have a variable named num. So now we want to change num. So now num is equal to num plus 1. So for now, num is equal to 1. So we're going to assign 1 plus 1. This is the same as 1 right now. 1 plus 1 into our variable. So now our variable is 2. So now let's see out num. As you can see, it's now equal to 2. There's also different types of integers. So here we have int num equals 1. We can also do double. And let's name this decimal num. Why decimal num? All right. Well, double is able to store a decimal value. Int is not able to store a decimal value. So let's say, for example, double decimal num is equal to 1.5, and int num is now equal to 1.52. So what's going to happen here? And let's delete this. We don't want to modify num right now. So what's going to happen here? Since 1.5 is stored inside of an int variable, it's only going to store an integer. So we could put 1.999 inside of here, and it will only display 1. As you can see, it only displays 1. It only takes the integer value. Now let's see what happens if we try to display decimal num. By the way, in coding, if you have a variable name, it's a good thing to lowercase the first letter, and if you have multiple words inside of it, to capitalize the rest. So let's say, like, I wanted to name this integer num and then 1. I see how I capitalized the O in 1. Okay, so let's display that. What's the problem? How did we get 11.5? Num is a 1. We saw how that works earlier. So we displayed 1, and then we displayed 1. You can see here there's a 1 from num, and there's a 1.5. So why did it show up as 11.5? So pretty much the lines intersected, or there was not a new line created to display the next value. So what we can do is end L. So that stands for end the line. So what's going to happen when we end the line? Let's run the program. See how it ends this line. After it displays num, the line is ended. So it goes to the next line. And now we display decimal num. Int and double are not the only types of data types that we can store inside our variables. There's other things. We can store words inside of variables too. But for now, this is the most simple explanation. Okay, following cout, there's also something we can do called cin. Okay, so let's delete all of this for now. Clean up our code. Okay, so what is cin? So let's say we want to take input from the user. Let's say we want to get information from the user. So what are we going to do? We type in cin, and remember how cout had less than signs? Cin is greater than signs. Okay, so now we can put whatever we want, and it will take input from the user. So let's make a variable, int number. Okay, so we have a box named number. We have a variable named number, but it's empty. There's nothing inside of it. I didn't set it equal to 100 or anything. It's just empty. So what's number? What's going to be inside number? Let's say that we want the user. Let's say we want the person who runs the program to put in whatever they want. So let's say. So then we use cin and then number. So what does this mean? So whatever the user types in here for this first space, I'll show you right now. So see, I can type here right now. So let's say I type in 123. So whatever I input here goes and gets stored into number. Okay? So this is the same as making int number 123. But we don't know if the user wants to put 123. So that's why we don't put 123 here. We could allow the user to put in whatever number they want by using cin. So now let's check. Let's make sure that this is working. So cout number. It's always a good idea to just follow up with endo if that's what you want. Obviously, if you don't want to end the line, then don't. So let's check. So run. Okay, it's prompting me to put in a number. So let's put in 10. Okay. So now, if I was to hit enter, then that means that number should equal to 10, correct? So if we want to, so now when we do cout number, it's going to display the value inside the number variable, which will be 10. And there you go. See how it displays 10 here? We can also display words along with variables. So remember how earlier we used quotation marks to display hello? So we can also put, to make this code cleaner, Let's put number is, and then we end the quotation marks, and then we have to put another less than sign, double less than, and then number. So what's this going to do? It's going to display number is and then number, whatever's inside number. So this time, let's put in 50. We hit enter. Number is 50. I hope this was clear and easy to understand. If you guys found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a good day. I'll be continuing on with this series. I'm sorry, this is my first video. I'm sorry if I didn't explain things well, or if I did stuff too, if I made things too complicated. So thank you.